I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you guys how to make the graphs for part 3 of the lab. So for part 3 of the lab, it tells you to download RMBL phonology summary data from 1974 to 2020. So that's the second Excel sheet, I believe, that's located on Canvas. So once you guys download it, you guys will see these different plants, right? So all these different plants, remember, whatever your last name is, that's the plant that you got chosen. So for example, mine starts with the Z, and if I look at the chart, it tells me that I ended up getting Lupinus bakery. So that's the plant that I'm going to be focusing on. In step 3 of analyze data, it tells me that I'm going to make graphs of the relationship between the year, so I'm going to be using the year as my x-axis, and 5 different phonology variables. So that means I'm going to be making 5 different graphs. One for first flower day of year, one for last flower day of year, one for peak flower count, which is this one, another one for peak flower day of year, which is this one, and lastly, you're also going to be making one for flowering duration. So you're going to be making 5 different graphs. One way to make this easier is you can, so select A, right? You're going to copy. It's going to make it easier once you guys are making your graphs. So select on A, copy. What that does is you're copying this entire column. Now I'm going to click on D, right? Right click. So make sure you're not copying whatever you guys copied there. So click on D, right click, and you're going to click on insert. So what that does is it inserted a new column. I'm going to go into the space here, and I'm just going to paste the year in there. And I'm going to keep doing that for all of these. So basically what I'm going to do is add a year in between them, so that when I make my graph, I just select these two and it makes the graph for me. So let me do the same thing. I'm going to click on the column F. I'm going to right click, click on insert, and then click on the cell, paste the year again. I'm going to do that again. So now I'm going to be clicking on, what happened to my letters? I'm going to click on this one, right click, insert, adds another column, paste my year in there. Right click on, I don't know where the letters went, but right click, insert, and then I do the same thing. Keep pasting. Last one, I think. Insert, paste. So now I have one for each column. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to create my graph. So what I do is click on a random cell here. Just going to click on that one. Then I'm going to click insert. So go to the top left, click on insert. And the chart that I'm going to be using, so I will be using a scatter plot. So click on scatter. And this white thing is going to show up, right? So that's where your data is going to go. So you're going to click on, right click on it, and you're going to click on select data. Click on that. So when it says chart data range, I'm going to click on this arrow right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the first variable. So my first variable that I'm working on is, I think it's first flower day of the year, right? So these two. But now that I have my year next to it, I can literally just select D and E together. Click on the arrow, and then I click OK. So now I have all of my data for the first one. So I can make this bigger, right? I got my year, which is what I wanted, and the numbers. So you guys can make sure you guys title this, right? First flower day of the year. So I don't want to see .doy, because I'm going to look at it and I'm going to be like, what is this? So make sure you guys change the title. Now, one way to add the axis titles, you can right click on it, and then sometimes I'll have a plus sign here, right? but like I'm a Mac user, so what I end up doing is on this left corner at the top, it says add chart element. So I'm going to click on that. Now it gives me all of these options. So I want axis titles, one for horizontal. Click on this again. I want another one for my vertical. So this is going to be my year. You guys figure out what these mean. So that's up to you guys. Let's see. I want to make sure I have a legend. So I'm going to put that at the bottom because I want to know what this means, right? Now, to add a trend line, same thing, chart element. You guys are going to add trend line. So I want to see a linear trend line, okay? Click on that. And now it adds a trend line for me. So with that trend line, I can change chart type, format trend line. Now I got all these options too. So you can change the color. So play around with it. We're not going to be using exponential, okay? So just the linear trend line. We're not going to use logarithmic. Just use linear. Let's see. You guys, I think it shows you that you need to write the R. So let me go back to the steps. So, okay, I added the trend line. Now that I did that, it tells me So I need to figure out the slope of the line. So you guys are gonna figure out how to write the slope of the line. This is my R squared. Okay, so for the slope of the line, I can move this. This is my slope of the line. Where do I go back? So I can click on this, format, trend line. You guys need the slope, right? So let me move this. If I write the slope, I don't need my intercept. What I need is this right here. This is my slope. So make sure you guys put display equation on chart, and you guys can also put display R squared value on chart. So that's your R squared, and with these two together, you'll be able to solve all the questions in your sheet. So this should be good. Make sure that you guys create 4 more of these, right? So it's not just one that I'm making and then I'm done. You're also making one for each one. So I already did first of flower day of the year. Now I have to make one for last flower day of the year, peak flower count, peak flower day of the year, and flower duration. So make sure that you guys are doing this to create your charts, and these should be good to help you answer your questions. So I hope this helps.